Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another video. Today we're going to do another 2-in-1. As with Joytoy, I try to give you more bang for your buck. Today we're going to talk about the Tyrannid Warrior and the Tyrannid Termagant. I don't know how to certainly pronounce that, but I'm going to figure it out. But in the meantime, let's get to the video. Here we are with these two lovely gentlemen who kind of just destroy everything for the sake of biomass. And they are on a hive mind. And if you haven't or seen anything, there are millions of clips that you can find of these guys kind of doing their thing. And they are the new antagonists right now for Space Marine 2, which comes out September 9th. That is not a plug. That is me trying to remember that on September 9th, I wish to have some time to play that game because I'm very excited for it. So let's start with the little guy first, as I wanted to jump straight into the warrior, but let's talk about the Termagant. This little guy is asymmetrical in design because he has one hand for holding his weapon. We'll get to that in a second. Then we have this cool jaw movement here for him. Articulation. I feel like these sculpts are really nice. I feel like my only issue with these guys as a whole would be that I want more and I don't have enough. Like, I really like these guys, and as everyone knows, I really enjoy army building, so these guys kind of fit in this nice smaller builder way. They are tiny, but they have a lot of articulated points. One of them is being the legs. We have a knee, and then we have our reverse knee, kind of like on an animal side. And we have a thigh swivel here that kind of rotates. But what's really cool is going to be the forearms, as the upper arms represent kind of like a human-like arms. Then we have our clawed-like arms below. Like I said, they fully move. They are on a single joint, but they still rotate. And they do have a semi-bicep swivel as well. We also have a midsection that rotates. And we have a tail, and the tail does have some bend. So yeah. These guys are really cool, so they definitely fit in like your lower builder level. If I wanted to get like 3 or 5, this would be it, especially because they have a pretty decent price. I don't mind it at all. And then we have these guys who, personally, like, you got to understand, like, I'm in love with these things. Like, I love the McFarlane ones because I loved what they stood for and they were ridiculous. But I feel like these ones capture what I actually wanted. Not even scale-wise, because the McFarlane ones actually, I feel like, are a really good scale. They come with the bone swords. We'll get into that in a second. The only downside is that these guys don't have as good as a movable mouth as the other. That is because there is a function here for popping in another piece. We'll get to that in the accessories. And then, full disclosure, I want you guys to know I actually swapped the arms. So these arms are originally on top, and these are the lower arms. But I really like the bone sword arms being above. That's really what I wanted. I wanted bone swords up, scythes below, and I feel like that's a better match for what I would have wanted. So that's what I did. Shout out to Giga Beetle for showing me how to do it. It was a heat and pop. So as you can see, I popped it right out, and that's because I wanted to be able to show you guys. You can just heat it up at the joint. I put them in hot water and then just popped it out. So yeah, as you can see here, they have a nice extension. They have the hands that rotate. And we have that invisible bicep joint that allows that swivel. And the reason why I swapped them is because, like I said, I think visually they look a lot better. Just like with the Termagant, we have that lower leg articulation. We have a thigh swivel as well. We have that reverse knee joint, which you'll see here. And we actually have a little bit of hoo swivel. So you can actually rotate that around. Tail is also bendable here as well too, as you can see. But these knife arms, man, they look really good underneath. And they make for a really good four-armed, like, crazy Xenos warrior, which in Warhammer is like a normal thing. All of those, everything in space will murder you. I've come to terms with that. So as you can see here, we have those lower arms now for those, like, scythes. I don't want to call them swords because he does have bone swords. And now I've made the upper arms it. And excuse me for not popping them all the way in because I literally just did it beforehand as I did this video. I'm probably going to heat it up a little further to get a little further in. But yeah. Now, what we are going to do is talk about those accessories that I mentioned so often. It's not a lot, but it's very imperative to the characters. So let's talk about it. So we're going to talk about our accessories, and we're going to do the Termagant first. First up is going to be our flesh borer sword. Flesh borer gun. I don't know. Flesh borer. So it fits in his left hand, or upper left hand, I should say. And it plugs in right here. Like I said, they use bioweapons, so this makes perfect sense that it would be actually tied to using them. why would you need to reload if you could just use your body as a reload portion? As you can see here, you can kind of just use the other hand to fit it like this or on the gripper of above. So, and the hands are soft, so that's actually really fun too. And then you have it just kind of looking really cool, just like this. Then you'll also get two types of tongues. You'll get a smaller tongue and a longer one. I'm actually gonna pop the longer one in. And I left them on the sticker so that way I couldn't lose them because, man, we all know I do not do well with tiny parts or tabbing. It's right here. Yep, see, I'm terrible about tabbing things. I'm so bad about these. And I'm trying to be better. I really am. But it's hard. Actually, it's at the back of the mouth. That's how you know I'm not good at it. There we go. So, there we go. Look at that. This actually makes it look a lot more better and more filled out as a character. And I love that fin. Now he looks like a super evil Lickitung. And then my main man right here, the Tyrannid warrior. This is where it gets fun for me. We're going to talk about this dagger-like mistletoe. And that's why he doesn't necessarily close his mouth, because the dagger-like mistletoe plugs directly in. Tab, tab, tab. And it always looks like he's literally like spiking out. I didn't necessarily see this when I was watching trailers, but it's part of the character. So I'm going to leave it in there for now. And then we have two bone swords that you will get that I'm going to assume are protruding out for the Tyrannid's biology. And this is why I love this, because it's one of those things where you got to understand a dude like this having two cool bone swords that attach to their body. It sounds insane. And like every time I hear about something in 40K, I'm just like, nah, there's no way that could be a thing. And then I find out it's totally a thing. Like, for instance, I learned about something called the retcon gun. I'm going to tell a story while I attach these swords to this mass murdering thing. I learned about something called the retcon gun, which literally wipes a person out of existence. Like, as you get wiped out of existence, people even forget what they were there doing. So imagine getting wiped out of existence, and then people are like, oh, well, I don't know why we were here or who we attacked. They don't even exist anymore. Like, but yeah. And this is why I chose for them to be on the upper arm, as I feel like they work a little bit better for that upper arm portion. As you can see, they plug in. There's a nice little plug match in. These guys look really phenomenal. And then even when you get this guy to kind of stand straight up, which is kind of crazy, he actually looks really, really tall. I think he fits on scale with maybe higher than that of a Terminator, especially those newer Terminators, which I'll do in the size comparison. So yeah, look at him looking up to his papa. But yeah, I absolutely adore these. But now what I am going to do is going to jump into size comparison. I'm going to use new Terminators, Space Marines, some Grey Knights, as well as a Primarch, so you can see what you're getting into. See you guys in a sec. All right, now we're going to jump into the size comparison. I guess the first thing we would do is compare to a normal 3¼ inch human, also from Warhammer. Here's our tiny human. I believe this is my Flames Guardsman. And as you can see, he's a very tiny man compared to them. Then we are going to put a Space Marine there. Have one of my Ultramarines there. And as you can see, they're still pretty small when compared to this big boy. And even with the Termagants, they're not much smaller. Like, so it's pretty cool to see size-wise where these guys stand. Now, if I take these two guys away, here we are with a Grey Knight, right? Grey Knights seem to be somewhere like, okay, it's not that bad, right? But then when you do a new edition Terminator, here's Severus. Got to turn him slightly to the side just so you can see just how much bigger and heavier he is. And he still doesn't stack up to this guy standing up, right? So let's remove these two. It's pretty crazy when you see all these guys like together. Here we are with Gilliman, a Primarch. And as you can see, a Tyrannid warrior is still pretty big. So I like where it stands with these guys, as the Tyrannid warrior standing straight up still gets close enough to a Primarch, even though Primarch would probably tear through one of these dudes. But it's pretty crazy because these things only get bigger. Now, when you put it in comparison to that of like a McFarlane one, right? Let's actually fix those feet ever so gently. So here we are with the McFarlane one, and even hunched over because you can't get that tall. I've extended as far as I can, even with the feet the way they are. These guys are actually pretty close in size to these guys. I think the width and how the joints are different. There's also a different type of Termagant, but you can see scale-wise, these guys are pretty good at what they do. So I really like where it stands. And now for fun, we're gonna throw a 6-inch figure in there just so you can see how these guys can actually work well with 1/12 scale stuff because they're so big. So here we are with my main man, Ichigo. So yeah, if you wanted some alien Xenos for your 3 1/4 inch or for your 1/12 scale /6-inch stuff, you actually have something good going with both of these, as you can do army builders that kind of can skew the scaling just a bit. This is one of those really fun things that, you know, I've come to truly enjoy. Like, it's crazy how cool the Warhammer stuff has been for me. And I've gotten a true delight out of not only reviewing these things, but just the lore, the fun community of it. It's really been an excellent pleasure. And it's something that I've truly enjoyed. One more thing I forgot, that these guys also come with stands in case you need it. But yeah, one thing I want to try to start doing is trying to showcase, like, after the review, like a setup or a display or something, like just a nice little pose to see what you can do. It's just really nice. I actually want to fix these arms a little bit because I actually didn't put them all the way in. I thought I waited for the click, but it didn't really click all the way in. But yeah, man, like little poses like this can go a long way if you find the right angle. So I just wanted to talk about it and touch on stuff like that. But overall, man, thanks for everybody just joining in on these adventures that I have. I know my stuff does not do like crazy numbers, but it's been really nice to be expressive and enjoy art, and you guys kind of be there for the journey, and I appreciate that. So as always, please be good to yourself, be kind to yourself and others, and as always, please be good, do good, drink water, guys. Later.